Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman420 with the Weedman420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Why are we talking like this?
I don't know.
I'm doing well.
You doing well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a mediocre meal.
It's so frustrating to go out to eat during COVID or whatever we're in at this point in time. I don't know. It's just disappointing.
Yeah. You've had a couple of bad meals lately, and I'm not blaming anybody on this. It just, we're restaurateurs. We love going to the restaurant.
Restaurateurs?
Yeah.
Like mouseketeers?
Yes. We love going to restaurants to eat.
Not lately.
Not lately, though. And I feel bad. And I know restaurants and bars and servers and bartenders and staff and kitchen. I know they're shorthanded right now. I know there's a lot of issues. So I'm hoping that we can get back to some normalcy in the restaurant business. And I feel bad for all of you out there. Hopefully people are still tipping you well. And like I said, bartenders and waitresses and waiters and servers and everybody in the industry, man. We're out there. We're out there trying to support you as much as we can. And I know it's tough right now. So keep on keeping on, as they say, you know.
That's right.
So as it is Suicide Prevention Month, and that's the month of September. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out. They're here for you at 24/7, 365 days a year at 1-800-273-TALK or 8255. So, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes.
Why don't we smoke that bowl?
Okay.
Smoke, smoke, smoke.
Actually, the place that we went to an Italian restaurant that's been around for quite some time in our area. They were jam-packed, so we didn't get seated for probably an hour. So we sat at the bar and had a glass of wine thinking our table would be ready in 20 minutes, like they said. And this place does not have a light hand when they pour a glass of wine. Whew. So I'm drinking water for tonight's show.
No, they do pour
glass,
heavy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was filled almost up to the top, and that was a big glass. The food portions were great too. Nothing to complain about. It's
just there's something different about going out to eat right now.
Yeah.
It's just an overall different feeling. I mean, the restaurant was jam-packed. Service was good. Couldn't complain about service, cleanliness. Everything was all together there. It's just the experience. They're like part of having a good meal is the experience of it. And there's just some element of experience that's missing since COVID. I don't know. Maybe other people can relate, but there's just something different. Like where you just, I don't know. It's just different. And I don't know how to put words together to explain it. But anyway, it was a good meal. It wasn't great. It was fine, but I'm stuffed like a pig. So
portions were huge.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah,
it's also.
I'm smoking now.
Yeah, smoke.
I'm smoking. What am I smoking?
Majin Fajita.
All right.
It's been getting better and better. This
is much tastier last night.
Yeah, it's the start of week 4 today of curing, and it is getting better and
Big
better.
Difference. Yeah, we smoked it last night, and the flavor profile is getting so much better.
Yes, another 2 more weeks, and yummy, yummy, yummy. It is Hispanic Heritage Month also, so I looked up some information if there was any Hispanic cannabis foundations, and there is. There is the National Hispanic Cannabis Council, and that is the NHCC. So what is the NHCC? National Hispanic Cannabis Council, a purpose-driven nonprofit organization, was created by progressive thought leaders in the cannabis business to address the current underrepresentation of U.S. Hispanics participating in the cannabis industry and to help demystify through educational programs the health and wellness power of cannabis to break down long-held cultural taboos and beliefs. The organization is propelled by a combination of educational spirit, Hispanic cultural heritage, and passion for the Hispanic market. Their mission is to educate the U.S. Hispanic community on the health, wellness, and economic aspects of cannabis to empower their support and participation in the industry. And their website is NHCCOUNCIL.org. So anybody who wants to check it out, that's great. Fully support it. They are trying to educate people on that. Smells frigging amazing.
It tasted delicious.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Terpenes, like, I could still taste it.
Holy shit. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait to smoke.
Because the first couple weeks we smoked it didn't taste good, and it was a real short-lived high. It was like a heavy high, but in a half hour you didn't feel anything. The flavor profile has changed completely. Yeah.
Great.
Good. Now let's see if the high has changed.
Hi. So that is the National Hispanic Cannabis Council. Sorry, I interrupted my program. I did myself because the smell was amazing. But National Hispanic Cannabis Council. So check them out. Support them. It's great. Don't forget, if it wasn't for Mexico and the Hispanic immigrants coming over from Mexico, we wouldn't have Mota. So thank you. Mrs. Weeman, you want to say something? Oh, you do want to say something. Pass me that bowl.
Yeah.
And when Mr. Weeman was out of town.
Yeah.
I had to go out of town for business for 4 days for work. And Mrs. Weeman was home alone smoking. And I came home and she told me a story. Tell him what happened while I was out of town, Mrs. Weeman.
So, yeah. I have been noticing that my tolerance has been building, which is a natural effect of smoking often. And we only smoke in the evening or have an edible in the evening. But I've kind of honed in on this way that works for me. I eat an edible around like 9 o'clock, kicks in about 10:30, come down and smoke with Mr. Weedman around 11, and then we head to bed. And by the time the smoke wears off, the edible kicks in, and I just sleep like a baby. So I've got this all dialed in. It works. It's quite effective. I like it. It's very good. We're night owls, by the way.
Yeah,
so we go to bed at like 12:30.
Very true.
And I wake up every morning fine. It's not like for people who don't smoke frequently or don't really understand cannabis and still have a lot of questions about it. One of the major things that I love about cannabis is that when it's gone, it's gone. You smoke it, and then, say if you're new to smoking, 2 hours, right? You take one hit, 2 hours, whatever you were feeling is completely gone. And then that's it. There's no hangover, there's no headache, there's no dehydration, there's no sour stomach, all the shit that you get from alcohol. There's none of it. And so if there's benefits that you can achieve by smoking cannabis, what harm is there? Or consuming it, I should say, because not everybody wants to smoke. I like the feeling that I achieve from smoking, but I also like the feeling I achieve from an edible. It's just they are different. They really are different. But once you get to understand it, for me, that's kind of the biggest like home run. Is that there's no hangover. There's nothing at all. And so if I smoke and have my edible at night, I wake up in the morning. It doesn't affect me in waking up. It doesn't make me groggy in the morning. I'm just ready to go on with my day, like a regular day, right? If I had alcohol in the evening, I might feel gross in the morning, right? In different varying degrees of grossness. Right. And who wants to do that, right? And we weren't big drinkers to start off with.
No, but we've had our times of throwing up a few times here.
Like once a decade. Oh, there's some doozies. Let me tell you, I have like a once a decade story of like a really bad night of drinking. Yeah. But anyway, Mr. Weedman was traveling, and so I was doing my normal routine, have an edible, go smoke, go to bed. Well, I had a 5 milligram edible, and lately 5 milligrams doesn't really do it. I feel mellow, but I don't feel that little bit of head high that I enjoy in the evening. So I had only taken a 5 milligram. So I came down to smoke, and I'm like, man, kind of talking to myself, right? Because me and Mr. Weedman have been together for so long that when he's not here, I still feel like he's here.
So wait, hold on. So it was a conversation with like, self?
No.
Yes, self.
I just am like thinking out loud, and then I look up thinking that you're there and you're not there. Like, I swear he was just sitting there. So anyway, I come down to smoke by myself. And for us, it's like usually like a half hour. We sit down here, we smoke, we talk, we smoke, we talk, we go to bed. So I'm down here for, like just cranking it down. Like I'm by myself. What am I going to do? I'll smoke, go to bed. Well, I smoked. And then I was like, I don't think I'm high. Am I really at that point in my life where I can't get high enough? Like I'm going to go up and I'm going to brush my teeth and go to the bathroom and change for bed, get in bed, and I'm not going to feel high anymore. So I'm going to smoke some more. So I did. I'm like, I'm just going to get freaking baked, right? Because that 5 milligram wasn't doing anything. Well, that was great. I smoked and smoked and smoked and smoked. And then I go upstairs and I'm in the bathroom brushing my teeth. And I'm like, who's that? Who's there? Where are you at? Oh my God. I was convinced there was somebody standing outside the bathroom door. I was convinced that this was my night. I was going to be murdered because that's my biggest fear in life. I'm going to get murdered. I'm going to get stabbed to death because I watch too many movies and I follow too many podcasts about murder, like real murder mysteries. So I'm convinced that someday I'm just going to be bludgeoned to death in my house. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I'm fucking going down. Shit. Who's there? I'm like, maybe I should get tough and be like, yeah, what do you want? What do you want?
So you were talking to yourself.
I was.
Self? Don't murder me, self.
I'm like, I got to get out of the bathroom. So here's the moral of my story. You can get too high, and even an experienced smoker can experience a little slight paranoia.
You can always
I got out of the
it.
bathroom. I climbed up into bed, put on the TV, and I think within like 30 seconds, I completely forgot about being scared of someone being in the house. Like I was on, my brain was on to thinking about other things. I'm like, okay. So, yeah.
Good thing you didn't have the spooky painting you just bought in the doorway.
Oh, I frequent estate sales and I look for particular things that appeal to me. And I found this painting, and it's equally eerie and cool. It's like, I think that's really cool. And then you're like, that freaking painting creeps me out. It's this person, can't tell if it's a boy or a girl.
I think it's a child, though.
It's a child, like a teenage, like a young teenager, maybe not, like a 12-year-old kid. And you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl, and then it's kind of tilting its head and looking at you. And it's this big oil painting. It's like poster size. And its eyes are just black.
They look like soulless.
Black. Like there's nothing in there.
Nothing there.
But it's sad, but then it's like intriguing. Like it makes you question a lot of things.
What was that painter putting in that child's face?
Yeah,
to
like why did that happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
The artist that painted that.
I can't find the information about the artist. I think it's a piece. Like I think it was a real nugget that I found.
Explain what a nugget is.
A nugget is when you find a fucking hot, really good deal. I got a lot of F-bombs tonight. When you find a really good deal on something that it doesn't matter if it holds value to anybody else. It's like, to you, it's a gem. That's a nugget. Like, I got a good deal, and it like is exactly something I want. So when you go to like a discount clothing store, like you go to like Nordstrom Rack or something like that, or TJ Maxx or Marshalls, or you go to like a thrift store or a vintage shop or antique mall, that kind of thing, flea market, and you find this thing that just talks to you like, I got to go home with you. That is a nugget. And you get it, not only that, but you get that feeling when you see it, but you also get it for like a deal. That's a nugget.
Well, you're a good bargainer too.
I like nuggets.
You like to wheel and deal with your nuggets too.
I got that nugget. That thing is in a solid wood original frame. It's an oil painting, poster size. So what is that, like 24 by 36, something like that? Oil painting, signed by the artist. It has like the chalk marking on the back that it's like an authentic piece of artwork. You can see the canvas. I mean, the frame alone, I got it for $45. That's a freaking nugget. Even if the guy's not famous, to
you, it's your nugget.
It's cool. Maybe we'll share a photo of it. It's creepy.
Soulless. The eyes look
I don't know.
soulless.
I think, yeah. Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We starting the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go.
I'm high.
Gotta let you talk for a minute before I start.
Because you're high.
Oh yeah, I took 2 really big hits.
I almost went for more. I'm glad I didn't. Yikes.
So I've given the Majin Vegeta now to 4 people. 4 stoners, burners, and potheads have gotten the Majin Vegeta to try, and the 3 out of the 4, because the 4 hasn't let me know yet, but at 3 out of the 4, all said it gets them very baked. So to me, that's a plus. Like I said, I'm just learning, and I just want to learn to grow good weed right now. One day I want to learn and get better to grow great weed. Right now I grow good, solid weed. It just is, and I want to get better, and I'm going to keep on growing and keep on getting better. So, but I'm pretty fucking baked. Whew. All right. What does solvent-free mean? And
are you asking me?
No.
Oh.
I'm asking the listeners out there. Last episode, I talked about live resin, full spectrum, and a lot of technical stuff I went over. So now I'm going to go into more. So what does solvent-free mean? In general, a solvent is a liquid that is used to dissolve a substance in order to form a solution. In terms of cannabis extraction, a solvent is a liquid that is used to separate the psychoactive compound THC from the cannabis flower. A solvent-free product refers to cannabis concentrate that contains no residual solvents in the end product. The product is considered safer and superior to products that contain residual solvents, which may or may not be harmful when ingested, depending on the solvent in question. Maximum Yields explains solvent-free. Solvent-free cannabis concentrates occur when a concentrate is distillate, having a 0 ppm residual solvent content. To achieve this, the hydrocarbon-based solvent is extracted from the substance, ensuring it is fully cleansed of all residual solvents. The term distillate refers to distilling the cannabis product to separate the molecules and containments. With solvent-free cannabis concentrates, the main goal is to extract the cannabinoids like THC, CBD, and terpenes, and to reinfuse them into the concentrates to produce a pure and potent product. To obtain solvent-free products, the processing of such products require the extraction of the plant materials with a hydrocarbon, such as a CO2 or butane. Later, the product is heated up and vaporized. Then it's a matter of consolidating the vapor through a cooling system and separating the components, the solvent and the concentrate, into beakers. These steps would be repeated to ensure the pure cannabinoids are refined and distilled. The consistency of the product increases the viscosity with increased heat. There is also a raw option where cannabis terpenes are reintroduced into the distillate, giving the taste of pure, activated THC, while other added flavors such as the strains like Lemon Haze, OG Kush, and Granddaddy Purps gives the taste of the strains to the distillate. So that was a little bit more I've learned about distillate. I've said I'm not a big fan of it. I've smoked a lot of it. But last time I talked about full spectrum live resin and hash oils, to me is more my style. I'm not gonna say distillate's bad. Distillate's just about in every edible you get nowadays. It's in a lot of your carts that you smoke out there. So I mean, it's your preference, your flavor, what you like. So I'm just trying to learn. Here was a great article. Ask a stoner, what's live sugar and can I cook with it? Dear stoner, what does it mean when the description of cannabis says live sugar or live butter? Now, dear Shauna, the pantry-like names of cannabis concentrates come from their consistencies and don't have anything to do with their relevance in the kitchen. Live refers to the pre-production process of live resin, which is an umbrella term for extracts made by freezing the plants before extraction to preserve certain oils and flavor compounds. Terms like sugar, butter, and shatter relate to the consistencies and appearance of the extract in the final form. Sugar is a high-quality concentrate that looks like a glob of brown sugar with sticky, crystallized THC. Butter is whipped after extraction, drier than sugar. Shatter is the resinous brittle purged of solvents to look like hardened sap. All of them can be used in oil, butter, or fat infusions for cooking, but avoid spending the money on live extracts for that. Live resin is meant for vaporizing, and higher quality carries a premium price tag that won't translate to food. So I thought that was a good article. So you also learned a little about butter, shatter, you know. So yeah, so hopefully that helps everybody. There's another thing I learned. I've talked about rosin and making rosin through the rosin press. Well, now I'm just learning and reading about the rosin chips that come from that and what you can do with them. Rosin chips are the flattened pancakes of cannabis flower that remains after being squished at the press. Those flat pucks of squished buds still contain cannabinoids and terpenes. And although there's less to extract than the time around, there are at least 2 effective ways to extract them. I'm going to take a sip of water for a second, everybody. Repressing pucks for more rosin. Although the initial press yields the highest quality rosin, there is still some worthwhile extract to be obtained the second time around. At a slightly higher temperature and with a bit of extra pressure, you can squeeze some decent rosin from the rosin chips. The quality of the rosin you get from these chips may be better suited for vaporizing or adding to pre-rolls as opposed to dabbing. You won't have the same flavor profile and purity with the rosin extracted from the chips as you will from freshly cured flour. However, it's still useful to press chips a second time. Keep your first rosin run for dabbing and your second run with the chips for other purposes. To repress the rosin chips, just fold them pancake flours in half, place in a fresh rosin bag, and follow the same steps as you did with the first steps. Or you can leave the puck in the original bag and simply fold it in for a half for the second press. Aim to press the chips at 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Although you can have success at high temperatures, even up to 250 degrees, at 220 you will be able to preserve the terpenes that remain in the chips after the first press. Using rosin chips to make edibles. I found this article because I saw people asking questions about what you can do with the extra rosin chips, and the biggest one was, can you use them for edibles? So I found this article. I thought it was pretty dope. To make edibles with your rosin chips, the key is to create an environment where the active ingredients that remain in cannabis can separate from the plant material and bind to the molecules that can be ingested. The molecules you want are fats and lipids, which allow cannabinoids to be processed in our digestive tract and kidneys and then effectively delivered into the bloodstream. The best way to achieve this heat rosin chips in butter or oil, which are high in fats and lipids. Mrs. Weedman and I use ghee and coconut oil, and sometimes we put them together and use them both together. Very high fat content. The THC binds to it more, so we moved away from butter a long time ago and started using coconut oil and ghee, which love it better. And just so you know, if you don't know what ghee is, it's clarified butter. Is that right, Mrs. Weedman?
It's actually dairy-free.
Dairy-free also, yes.
Which I don't know. I didn't do a ton of research on that, but I did read something, and it made me happy to see that you could use it.
Nice.
When you're dairy-free.
Nice. Where did I leave off at?
I don't
know. Here we go. The best way to achieve this is to heat rosin chips in butter and oil, which are higher in fats and lipids. With the help of heat, cannabinoids in the rosin chips will bind to the butter or oil, which can be used in your favorite recipes. It's simple as boiling the chips in water and butter. For best results, use 1 ounce of rosin chips per stick of butter. To prep the chips, place them inside a rosin bag. Should be food safe and boil resistant like these, and tie the top securely to keep the plant material from escaping. To start, boil a pot of water at 190 degrees Fahrenheit and add a stick of butter. Allow the butter to melt and float to the top of the pot. This is the old school way of doing it. I used to do it this way. Then add your rosin bag filled with chips and allow it to boil for 1 to 2 hours. Bear in mind that the closer you get to the 2-hour mark, the more sedative the product will become, and certain cannabinoids are transformed with exposure to heat. That's why sometimes in the beginning, when we used to make the butter this way, we used to boil it with water and butter, and then put all the flour just straight in, and then we would strain it to the cheesecloth.
Yes, you have to squeeze
I
it.
would boil that shit for like 2.5, 3 hours, and now I know why every time those fucking edibles we made early edible days would knock people the fuck out, because we would boil that shit for a long time. It said here, if you want more sedative, if you boil over 2-hour mark, you'll get a sedative product, like more of
an indica.
No, not indica. It's just more of a downer. Like the cannabinoids change, and it's more like, So, once you boiled the mixture for 1 to 2 hours, remove the heat and let the butter settle and solidify at the top of the pot. After it's cooled down completely, remove the butter and place it in a container. As best practices, although not completely necessary, add 1 tablespoon of sunflower lecithin. Yeah, we do that too when we make butter. We always add some sunflower lecithin to it. To the can of butter by slowly simmering together in a skillet over a very low heat. The goal is to simply to heat just enough that the butter can melt and be whisked together with the lecithin. This final step increases the bioavailability of the can of butter, and they recommend taking the extra 5 minutes at the end to fully optimize the effectiveness of your edibles. You want to know how I used to see if the butter was good? When I would run it through the cheesecloth and I couldn't get anything else out, I would suck on the fucking cheesecloth. Remember that one time? I didn't go to work.
What are you doing?
I didn't go to work the next day. I was high for like 24 hours.
Well, you kept licking the spoon.
Oh my God, I was licking. But remember, I was like sucking on it like a teat. I was like,
oh my God.
Remember that? I was sucking oh my God, I was baked for 24 hours.
I think it's all gone.
I was baked for 24 hours. Remember, I got out of bed and I looked at him like, I can't move. I'm calling off work today. Oh, shit. I was fucked up. Now it's time to use the butter in your favorite recipe and enjoy. Using rosin chips to make rosin capsules. Similar to using rosin chips for edibles, you can use rosin chips to infuse MCT oil and make capsules. Conclusion. Even after 20% yield from your first run of flour, cannabinoids and terpenes often remain in the leftover chips. The trick is in knowing how to extract them, so don't be so quick to chuck your chips. Give these methods a try and let us know what worked best for you in the comments. So this was I'm going to give you the article so you can read yourself. It's by the Press Club, and their website is thepressclub.co. And so check it out. And that's where I found it on September 4th. So I would definitely read about that more or check out their website. September 4th. Yeah, that's when it came out. That's when I found it. But
the article.
Yeah, the article came out. We've talked about the Entourage Effect on the show in the beginning, early stages. Paulie talked about it on an episode. And back when he talked about it too, it was very, very early studies. And I've heard about it for a few years. But Paulie said it. So, Mrs. Weedman, tell us about the Entourage Effect.
Yes.
And what do scientists say?
Yes.
Science.
According to these scientists in this study, the Entourage Effect is real. Whoa, boy, that's not a good way to start. Oh my gosh. Many people might dismiss the Entourage Effect as a marketing campaign, but a new study has found the key to how cannabis can provide pain relief, and it may play a big role in how efficiently cannabis delivers such relief. Researchers from the University of Arizona Health Sciences conducted the study. They wrote in the news release that the presence of an entourage effect had been an unresolved mystery until now. The researchers write that they found evidence that favors the entourage effect theory and positions cannabis terpenes, the part of the plant that provides flavor and aroma, as a promising new target for pain therapies that would require lower doses and produce fewer side effects. What is the entourage effect? Well, terpenes are aromatic compounds that exist in many different plants, including fruits and flowers. They are what provide the scent for different plants, such as pine, mint, or citrus. They are the basic component of essential oils. The cannabis plant produces terpenes, as well as many different types of cannabinoids. They include CBD, which is cannabidiol, and THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol. And THC is the psychoactive component in cannabis. THC is believed to cause the high on its own. However, the combination with terpenes, the entourage effect that we're talking about, so it's basically this combination. They're saying that THC, yes, does make you. It is a different component of cannabis than CBD, but they're saying that when they interact and when they're together, there's more of an effect. CBD alone or THC alone are one thing, and then when they're together, it's the entourage effect. The entourage effect increases the effectiveness of cannabis, reducing pain, and does not increase any negative side effects, the new study found. In this study, published in Scientific Reports, the researchers wrote, our findings suggest that these cannabis terpenes are the multifunctional cannabimimetic ligands.
You didn't practice that before you.
I did. No, but I did not look up what that means. I like having, when I have those kind of words, I like to look them up.
Those kind of words.
Cannabimimetic. That's real. Cannabimimetic ligands. So, our findings suggest that these cannabis terpenes are multifunctional cannabimimetic ligands that provide conceptual support for the entourage effect hypotheses and could be used to enhance the therapeutic properties of cannabinoids. The researchers tested terpenes alone and in combination with cannabinoids. They used mice to test the effectiveness of terpenes alone and in combination with cannabinoids in reducing pain. They found that on their own, terpenes mimic the action of cannabinoids. For example, when THC enters the body, it binds with a cannabinoid receptor, which is typically the most abundant receptor, the CB1R. On their own, so we have these receptors in our bodies, right? On their own, all 4 types of terpenes tested by researchers did the same thing. They also, again, on their own, led to lowered pain sensitivity in test subjects and remarkable findings on its own. That's a remarkable finding on its own, right?
So remarkable.
Yeah. However, when researchers treated the mice with a combination of terpenes and cannabinoids, they found the test subjects experienced an even greater reduction in pain. Dr. John Stryker, the lead researcher on the study, said the news release that the results were unexpected in a way. It was our initial hypothesis, but we didn't necessarily expect terpenes, these simple compounds that are found in multiple plants, to produce cannabinoid-like effects. Stryker said his long-term goal is to use terpenes in combination with cannabinoids or opioids to achieve the same level of pain relief with lower doses of drugs and fewer side effects. So, pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep. So more and more studies about the entourage effect.
The entourage effect.
And we talked about it, I think it was like episode 2 maybe, or 1, and probably brought it up a few other times since then, but not like more data, however you say it. How do you say it?
I say data.
I say data.
No, tomato,
I guess.
Potato, patata.
We have a college student still.
Yeah.
And we have a college graduate.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm so proud of all the college students out there. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because cannabis use soars, while alcohol and tobacco use decline. So proud of all the burner, stoner, pothead college students out there. I just think they're so here. Cannabis use among college students reached its highest level in 35 years in 2020, according to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, while alcohol use decreased by 6%. That'd be higher. Cannabis use among college students reached its highest levels in 35 years in 2020, with 44% of college students saying they consumed cannabis over the past year, according to Monitoring the Future data. The National Institute on Drug Abuse funded study conducted by researchers at the University of Michigan Institute for Social Research has been annually tracking substance use by college students since 1980. Wow. The 2020 cannabis use rate among college students represents an increase from 35%, the study found in 2015. For young adults not in college, annual cannabis use remained at 43%, the same all-time high level recorded by the study in 2018 and 2019. Daily cannabis use among college students last year was recorded at 8%, compared to 13% of same-age individuals not in college. In 2015, daily cannabis use among college students was 5%, according to the study data. Psychedelic use also increased among college students from 5% in 2019 to 9% last year. According to the research, annual psychedelic use among non-college respondents did not significantly increase in 2020, remaining consistent at around 10% compared to 8% in 2020. College students did report lower alcohol use rates in 2020 when 56% of students reported alcohol use within the past 30 days compared to 62% in 2019, and 28% reported being drunk in the past 30 days compared to 35% in 2019. Additionally, 24% of college students reported binge drinking, defined as consuming 5 or more alcohol drinks in a row in the past 2 weeks in 2020, compared to 32% in 2019. Among college respondents, alcohol use across all measures was stable over the past 5 years with no drop in 2020, when 49% of non-college respondents reported alcohol use in the past 30 days, while 22% reported being drunk in the past 30 days and 24% reported binge drinking. This was a study by John Schleppenberg, Ph.D., professor of psychology at the University of Michigan and principal investigator of the Monitoring and Future Panel. Study noted that it was a 5-year where binge drinking was similar between the two groups. The researchers also found that tobacco use among college-age individuals is falling at all-time low rates over the past 5 years, with 4% of college students reporting having smoked in the past month, along with 13% of non-college respondents. Good for weed. Big thing that happened yesterday, the House officially passes defense bill with the cannabis banking protections, but key senators may block it path ahead. It's promising, but we'll see what happens if the Senate passes it. But they did kind of throw it into the defense spending bill. So it's going to be like, if they decline it, then they're going to have to readjust it. I would just keep on stick it in the bill that has to be passed. So we'll see what happens with that. They need to get it through the banking, and some biggest reasons why, though. No joking matter. A lot of cash in hand in dispensaries and, cultivators. Puts a lot of people in danger. Let's just put it that way. Especially people working on premise. People that carry the money in and out. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time coming through in and out. So they have to pass it. I know there's some banks starting to work or are working with cannabis companies, but it's not enough, So for that reason why, like I talked about in the last episode, that's why just decriminalize it, federal government, and get the banking through. And also, one other thing, release all the non-violent cannabis criminals federally out there. And if you do that, that'd be huge. That's it. It's simple. We're making it too fucking hard. The Food and Drug Administration and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued health warnings about Delta-8 THC. I've talked about it a lot. I talked to Dov Boy because I gave him that Delta-8 joint that we had gotten that we never smoked, and he said it was good. Hit him behind the eyes. I'm still unsure about it. They're finding that, there is some Delta-9 that could still be in there. There's so much stuff and research. Like I've said, you don't know what you're getting. If you're not buying it from a dispensary or a controlled place where they're making it, I don't know, So there's rumors going around that they're like adding fentanyl to this now.
Jeez.
So I don't. This is just what I'm reading and hearing. Don't shoot the messenger. I've seen people talk a big deal about Delta-8 THC. They like it, I don't know. Just don't buy it from a place where it's not at least has some tracking on it, and like it's being tested and you know where they're getting it from.
Is that possible?
Ask questions. When you're buying it from the counter at a hemp shop or a gas station, say, do you know where you got this from? Do you know who the grower was? Do you know if this has been tested? Is there any kind of test coding on here? If you're not asking those questions, I wouldn't buy it. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just be careful. So let's see. The World Anti-Doping Agency Executive Committee announced that it will review cannabis' status on banned drugs for athletes. The move comes in the wake of criticism it received after Sheree Richardson was suspended from Olympics for cannabis. The National Urban League, a 100-plus-year-old civil rights organization, is calling for the cannabis legalization with focus on social equity, including reserving half of businesses' licenses for impacted communities. Some federal stuff. The Senate Judiciary Committee held a confirmation hearing on President Joe Biden's nominee for director of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy. Representative Jay Obernault, Republican California, tweeted, the sub-county sheriff is working hard to shut down large-scale illegal cannabis grows. Unfortunately, California laws are standing in the way of long-term solution to this problem. We need to continue working until this illegal activity no longer threatens our community. That's going on in California right now. Pennsylvania Democrat Senate candidate John Fetterman, currently the state's lieutenant governor, tweeted, "It's 420 on 420 days until the election of our most recent hotel room on the campaign trail was room 420." That's the tweet. That's awesome. They want it to go so recreational in Pennsylvania. It's crazy. Maryland Democratic congressional candidate Michaela Wilkes tweeted, 27 years since the 1994 crime bill. The crime bill of the 80s, the similar state-level policies led to the U.S. having the highest incarceration rate on the planet. Let's be clear. Leader Hoyer was on every single one of those bills. We need to see some damn change, ending the war on drugs and expunging records, ending mandatory minimums, and cash bail, abolishing private prisons. Some state stuff. South Dakota, Governor Kristi Noem tweeted that the Legislative Committee approved the majority of the draft guidance for the Department of Health medical cannabis program after months of public input. She also tweeted, "I'm proud of the job the Department of Health did in streamlining the process. My administration is fully on board to make certain South Dakota counties continues to implement the most reasonable, patient-focused medical cannabis program in the country." Texas Republicans gubernatorial candidate Alan West tweeted, "Blue states can make cannabis federally an illegal drug legal and allow it to be transferred outside those states and purchased, and the feds say nothing. As governor, I will defend Texas sovereignty upon to uphold the laws." And he's talking about guns. Dude, oh my God. Rhode Island House Speaker said if lawmakers don't tackle cannabis legalization during a special session in October, the issue will carry over to January, and he also discussed the difference in details among the competing proposals while saying that the reform won't be a big revenue source. Oklahoma lawmakers pressed regulators about the medical cannabis compliance oversight efforts at hearing. New Jersey courts posted information about expunging cannabis records. New Hampshire regulators announced that medical cannabis patients can now shop at all dispensaries in the state instead of just the one they were previously registered. Good for you, New Hampshire, because I was here in Illinois until just about a month ago. So good for you. We should be able to go freely to any dispensary we want as a medical patient. Ohio regulators approved the plan to more than double the number of medical cannabis dispensary licenses. The Pennsylvania Office of Open Records ruled the regulators must provide information on how many patients use medical cannabis to treat opioid use disorder. A member of New York's Cannabis Control Board spoke about the process of getting the state's legal market underway. The director of New Mexico Medical Cannabis Program defended regulators' process for opening production licenses applications. Colorado regulators will host a cannabis work group rulemaking meeting on Wednesday. That's information around the country. Oh, Alabama, roll tide. Cannabis Commission wants plants next year. They hire a director. Ooh, we'll see what happens. Here's a cool one. Missouri spends millions in medical cannabis tax revenue to support veteran programs. That's dope. Good for you, Missouri. New Jersey, the place I was born, has expunged 362,000 low-level cannabis crimes. That's dope. That's up from the last time I mentioned it. Lawyers, race, and money. Illinois' messy weed experiment. Many states have legalized cannabis, but few embraced a serious commitment to tackling the racial disparities and disproportionately hurt black people during the war on drugs. Illinois stood to become a model of diversifying the cannabis industry in other states when it legalized the drug last year. So far, its success is half-baked. As the first state legislature to legalize recreational cannabis sales after others approved it by ballot measures, Illinois crafted what it hopes to be a national template for how to atone for the war on drugs while also generating new revenue. It's on pace to pull in about $1.3 billion this year in cannabis sales, roughly double what it got in 2020. And thousands of cannabis-related criminal convictions have been wiped clean. But Illinois' effort to diversify the lucrative industry away from established white-owned businesses has stumbled several times over the past 2 years. It's created a sore spot for the state that's attracted steady barrage of lawsuits over the lottery system, built to seed scores of new small businesses owned by minorities, women, and veterans. Yes, there have been challenges because we just put the jackhammer in the ground for the first time, and that's loud noise and hard, Troy Hutchinson, Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker's senior cannabis advisor, said in the interview. You have to go through it until you get to what building a new economy and a new industry is going to eventually look like. I never thought it was going to be a walk in the park. Illinois is taking a methodical approach to handing out licenses to avoid the fate of most other states' markets and have few minority-owned businesses. But there's another twist. Some cannabis dispensary winners in Illinois are already looking to sell their license or stake it in them to larger companies. So they're basically going to sell the licenses they just got. You know what? I will say this. If you want a license, you spent the money to get that license, it's your right to do what you want with it. No argument. If you don't have the money to spend the millions it's going to cost to open the whole thing up, and someone offers you $5 million for it, I don't know. I might sell it. Just my opinion. So if you got it and you sold it, whatever, it's your choice. Black people are nearly 4 times more likely than white people to be arrested for cannabis-related crimes nationwide, even though they have similar rates of usage. Yeah, we've read that before. Legal battles are expecting, said Hutchinson, who is one of the legislative architects of the cannabis law when she served in the state Senate. In Illinois, she added, is just as much focus on righting the wrongs of the war on drugs. So far, Illinois has expunged hundreds of thousands of cannabis-related arrests and records and pardoned more than 20,000 people with nonviolent criminal convictions for drugs use, part of the social equity element of the law. We started with the premise that you cannot normalize and legalize an activity for whom prohibition of the same activity destroyed whole communities, Hutchinson said. How Illinois got here. Cannabis entrepreneurs are disheartened that nearly 2 years after recreational cannabis legalized in January 2020, they have yet to secure licenses. Meanwhile, established, mostly white-owned medical cannabis companies were allowed to expand their foothold as new entrants lingered in the novel process. The delays came about in part because of COVID-19, but also due to the stumbles in the scoring process for early lotteries, when in turn prompted lawsuit. The state put everything on hold until legislators could tweak the law earlier this year and allow the process to move forward in a way they hope to lead the great minority representation. Illinois' latest legal fumble emerged a few weeks ago after applicants from early lotteries for dispensary licenses say they were wrongly left out of the process because of clerical error. As a result, the state has put the distribution of all licenses on hold. It's very frustrating. We can't move ahead until the state works it all out, said Ricky Hendon, a former state attorney and co-owner of a winning dispensary license. Good for him. So far, 185 conditional dispensary licenses have tentatively been awarded. In all, Illinois plans to hand out 500 licenses through a lottery process that is designed to benefit applicants who are from minority communities, women, and veterans. In addition to licenses for dispensaries, the Pritzker administration has allocated 79 craft grow, infusers, and transport licenses to the State Department of Agriculture. Among the license winners, 83% qualified as social equity applicants and 67% identified as non-white, according to Hutchinson's office. Charlie Batchel, CEO of Chicago-based Cresco Labs and chair of the National Cannabis Roundtable and Advocates for Legalization, talks up the delays and stumbles to growing pains of a new industry. Okay. When you're doing it for the first time, you'll make errors and mistakes, he said. We saw it in states that started with medical cannabis. There are lessons learned for future states that tried to address social equity. Cresco has a lot at stake with 10 dispensaries open in Illinois, and while Batchel acknowledges Illinois' license delay in distributing licenses having a tempering effect on growth, he said he's taking a long view on it and means for the state's cannabis economy. There's a bigger benefit to the industry by Illinois successfully doing it than my need for more doors to open tomorrow, he said. I hope it's as expeditious as they can make it, but I am a realist and I know it will take some time. What's next? At least some lottery winners understand why the process is slow, though it doesn't make it the wait for dispensary licensing any easier or cheaper. I am more comfortable with their processes going on, said Akel Parnell, who is the tentative winner of a dispensary and craft grow license. But the longer we wait to the fight over legal issues, the longer we wait for diversity in the industry. Parnell is an African-American attorney who previously worked at the cannabis company Green Thumb Industries before set out on his own. His challenge now is lining up, facing scouting a location, and looking for employees while the legal battle wraps up so the licenses can officially go out. One case could be resolved next week, but there are still a half a dozen others in the courts. The Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulations is ready to issue conditional licenses now, but is waiting for the courts to give the green light, according to the Hutchinson office. Not everyone has been able to wait. Some tentative license winners are already looking to sell majority stakes of their cannabis companies to bigger organizations, putting into question whether the industry will ever be as diverse as Illinois wants it to be. Hendon is among those looking for investors. It's been a 2-year delay. People have rent and mortgages to pay, and you still have to raise capital to get a dispensary off the ground. This isn't about people being hell-bent on making money. It's capitalism, said Hutchinson, the Pritzker advisor, pointing to how deals are done in the business world. A lot of black and brown people weren't on the golf courses trying to figure out how to get into the cannabis industry, she said. Now you have a bunch of entrepreneurs who are in the spaces, and they are have every right to navigate the way they see fit. Oof. Pretty tough here in Illinois right now. I just read about 2 or 3 hours ago, 3 more people that were trying to get licenses, companies that were trying to get licenses are now putting lawsuits. So these next 185 dispensaries, we might not see a quarter of these probably till like next spring. Let's just say. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just aroused
Oh,
on how this next article is going to go with you.
what? That didn't even make sense. Get out of here.
So we like edibles, right? Right? You like
Yeah, we
edibles?
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell? I'm pretty baked.
What? How do some edibles get some female, arousal?
All right. How about if I just tell the story here?
Tell the story.
And if
I was trying to be
I know you're
somewhat
trying
professional,
to be silly.
but I wanted to be
Yeah,
a
you
little.
just told me that you're aroused.
I wanted to be a little dirty.
It's a little weird. Our listeners don't want to know that. It's okay, Mr. Weedman.
I'm sorry, everybody.
It's all right. You were trying to like flow into the new topic, out of the news and into arousal.
I feel like a dirty
Right?
old man.
You dirty old man. Well, ladies, I have the 15 best edibles for female arousal. And honestly, I don't know why these couldn't be for male arousal. So, I mean, guys listen too, right? I mean, hormones are hormones, right?
We all want to be aroused.
Right. Well, are you looking for the best edibles for female arousal? These tasty treats can come in forms of gummies, brownies, cookies, and even infused olive oils. So what are edibles? They are usually an infused product, like one of those that I just mentioned, and contain powerful phytocannabinoids like CBD and delta-8 or delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol. Edibles may help with female arousal because they allow a person to feel more relaxed, playful, and at ease. We live in a busy and stressful world, so finding ways to calm down and let loose are the purpose of edibles made for arousal. Cannabis is a vasodilator, which means it can increase blood flow and open up blood vessels. This alone could lead to a more intense orgasm for women. So again, I don't know why this wouldn't apply to guys too. So here are a list of the 15 best edibles for female arousal. Why delta-8 has some of the best strains for female arousal, and where you can get yours today. We're not going to talk about where you can get yours today because everyone's all over the world, so you're going to have to kind of do a little cross-referencing. I'll give you some details about these products that they're saying are great for the specific feeling, arousal, and you could go to your local dispensaries and see what they might offer.
I'm going to find every single brand and give them to you and see if it works.
Lord. Jeez. Okay. How to use delta-8 edibles for arousal. The different strains of delta-8 may affect people differently. Some are more uplifting and help you focus, while others are more relaxing, where you want to curl up with a soft blanket and watch a movie. Personal experience will be your most significant indicator about which strain makes you feel a specific way. If you're looking for the best strains for female arousal and you're choosing between delta-8 and delta-9 THC, you may be wondering which is best. You may not know the difference between these two types of THC, so we'll share that with you. Delta 8 and Delta 9 are both THC, but Delta 9 is the one that gets everyone all up in arms. Delta 9 offers a more intense psychoactive experience than that can leave you in a head or couch lock feeling. Delta 9 is legal on the federal level in amounts greater than 0.3% on a dry weight basis. So again, Delta 9 is a cannabinoid that is achieved through a process of the hemp plant or the cannabis plant, but a low THC cannabis plant can be transformed into Delta 9. So Delta 8 is the natural cannabis that if you just plucked a bud off of a tree and threw it in a bong and smoked it, even wet, you're going to get some effect from
Delta
it.
9.
Delta 9.
Delta 9. You said Delta 8.
Oh. Delta 9 is the chemical one?
Delta 9 is the psychoactive that you get from cannabis.
Right.
Right.
And Delta 8 is the chemical one.
Yes.
It's a chemical reaction.
Yes, made by isomerization.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I said that all backwards.
You did.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Okay. Delta
Reverse
8.
it.
Delta 8, on the other hand, offers a smoother, gentler, more prolonged high. You reap all of the rewards of a psychoactive experience like euphoria and arousal without the couch lock. Delta 8 is definitely a top choice for the best edibles for female arousal. And the good news is it's legal in most states. So this is what you can find in your smoke shops and gas stations and things.
But like we said...
But you said do some research.
Do some research.
Try to get the cleanest product.
Do not buy it from
It's
the gas
not
station.
regulated.
Right.
So you have to be careful what you consume.
Right. And I know there's people out there using it.
Yeah.
I know there's people out there that like it. I'm not saying don't take it. It's your choice. You do what you want. It's your body. You want to take it, fine. Just know where you're getting it from.
Okay. So we've got let's go here. We know you're getting excited talking about the best edibles for sex, and now you're ready to get some edibles, that is. Some strains and products make sex on edibles so much better. This list was crafted using expert knowledge as well as personal experiences from people who have tried them. We'll start with one of our favorites across the board. If you want the best sex on edibles, you're going to want to go with Delta North Delta 8 gummies. It's a smoother high, so you can still feel present in your body and mind while also experiencing an uplifting feeling. Delta North's gummies are the best edibles for sex because it's some of the highest quality Delta 8 money can buy. Delta North gummies go through extensive taste testing and third-party testing to ensure you get the best Delta 8 every time. There's a good one. We've got number 2 is Herb Delta 8 THC chocolate bar. It's another excellent Delta 8 option for those looking for chocolate edibles for arousal. Chocolate is already associated with romance, particularly dark chocolate, so get your freak on with flavors like cookies and cream, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and rainbow rocks. You'll find minimal ingredients, silky smooth chocolate, and Delta 8 that helps lighten your mood and relax your body. Number 3 is Gron CBD dark chocolate with sea salt. If you want to try a different phytocannabinoid, this is another chocolate option that uses the calming powers of cannabinol to help soften the mind so you can be more open to having sex on edibles. You won't experience the psychoactive high as you would with Delta 8, but this dark chocolate works as an aphrodisiac so you can nibble on it together with your partner. Ooh. Number 4, Sensuali tea. Is a fun way to consume the best edibles for sex. We tried hibiscus cardamom rose. It contains THC. Sip some tea before a romantic dinner or split a cup if you're new to consuming THC this way. Wait around 90 minutes and you'll be ready for the passion and play to begin. This is one of the best edibles for female arousal for those tea lovers out there who really want to set the mood and get a little high. I feel like this is like a Lover's Lane commercial.
Lion's Den.
Yeah. 5. I don't think Lion's Den has commercials. That's billboards.
Yeah.
Pull over now. Pull over. We've got parking, free parking. Will you come in? That's always on the side of the road, isn't it? 5 is Kiva, cannabis-infused espresso beans. They are another option for those looking for the more intense high of Delta-9 and the friskiness that comes with chocolate and energy from the espresso. With these chocolate-covered espresso beans, you'll be able to go all night long. Ooh.
All night.
Yeah, little Lionel Richie there.
All night.
Sex on edibles is a whole lot of fun, especially with the energy kick from caffeine. Number 6, Wild CBD Sparkling Water Variety Pack is a favorite brand for many reasons. Like Delta North, they take care to create mindful and quality products that are extensively tested. If you want to add some bubbly to your sexy night, try Wild's CBD Sparkling Water. You'll get the softness of CBD without the high, if that's what you're after. You'll also have a fun conversation topic. Drinking hemp products isn't as common as other methods like gummies and tinctures. Number 7, 1906 Love Chocolate Gems. 1906, I just talked about them a couple weeks ago. I was at a work event and ate the Go pill. I didn't eat it. I swallowed it, and it made me go. So maybe this will make you love.
We
have the 1906
wait,
Love.
hold on. We have 2 packs of those upstairs.
The
love
sexy one.
Yeah.
Love.
Can we try it tonight?
Stop already? All right, you're being a weirdo. If you're ready to leave your inhibitions behind and boost arousal and blood flow, you want to try 1906 Love, chocolate gems, or their plant-based pills. These are some of the best edibles for female arousal if you're looking for love-enhancing herbs combined with THC and CBD. You'll have to be one of the lucky people who lives in the cities they sell in, and it's worth the effort to go find these chocolate gems if you're ever passing through a city that has them. 8 is Mr. Moxie's Artisan CBD Relief Mints. They're a simple way to help relax the mind and soften the edges of stress so you can focus on what you need. With Mr. Moxie's, you have plenty of choices for helping boost energy or find pain relief that's blocking you from finding your joy. Popping a mint has the added benefit of freshening your breath when it's time to lock some lips. 9, we've got 3 Chai Delta 8 cereal treats. So like a little Rice Krispie treat kind of thing. Luckily, Delta 8 comes in many forms so that you can enjoy the best edibles for female arousal. These cereal treats offer a Delta 8 experience that is uplifting and relaxing all in one. The fun part about these cereal treats is the nostalgia of eating your favorite childhood cereal combined with the excitement of getting high. 10, we've got Potley's hemp-infused olive oil. Spice up your night with a new way of consuming the best strains for female arousal. This hemp-infused olive oil pairs well with your favorite salads. Have it right off of a spoon or use it while sauteing your favorite vegetables. When you are using hemp-infused olive oil, make sure you keep the heat low in the kitchen so you don't damage the phytocannabinoids. Wait until later to turn up the heat in the bedroom.
Woo!
11, Recreate Pride. Recreate Pride, CBD, and THC gummies are a fun way to consume gummies that offer the entourage effect of using CBD and THC together. Of course, you'll have to find these gummies at a dispensary because of the THC content, but it'll be worth the effort to find them. Bring some rainbows and play into your Sex on Edibles experience. Sex on Edibles experience. That's pretty funny. They need to have like a category now at like dispensaries. Sex on Edibles.
That'd be somebody
12,
put that together.
We've got Fruit Slabs, CBD. They've got OG Mango as their flavor. They offer a relaxing and powerful experience with only organic and wholesome ingredients. These fruit leathers will calm your mind and boost your libido. Each slab has 100 milligrams of CBD, which is quite a lot if you're munching on the entire thing. If you experience pain and stress, higher amounts of CBD might be helpful if you don't want the psychoactive high while you're between the sheets. 13, Peak Extracts Sour Space Candy Hemp Chocolate Bar lives up to the hype. Sour Space Candy offers a strain-specific option for those looking to feel energized and experience a boost while having sex on edibles. This is one of the best strains for female arousal and is made with high-quality ingredients and hemp flower from the USDA-certified organic hemp farm, East Fork Cultivars. 14 is Snapdragon Hemp Delta 8 Brownie Bites. Sometimes you get a case of the munchies when you're high, and sometimes you munch on some brownie bites and feel that smooth ride upwards with all of the intense side effects of Delta 9. If you're looking for edibles for arousal, try some Delta 8 Brownie Bites. This hit of chocolate and smooth Delta 8 will add some romance and play to your life. That article confused me because they talked about Delta 9 and Delta 8. Whew. Okay.
You know what?
Can you have both? You can't have both.
You could. You could take both.
I mean, you could take both,
Right.
but you're not going to find a product with both.
No. Every article I read about Delta 8, you've gotten confused about.
I know.
It's okay.
I never had
it is.
confusion.
It is confusing because it's probably the Delta going into the number. It is because we've talked about Delta 10 too. We've talked about so many different.
Delta
cannabinoids.
9 is the
psychoactive
that's
you get from
THC
the cannabis
that
plant.
we think of forever.
Yes.
Is Delta 9.
Yes.
That's the OG.
The OG
of cannabinoids.
Yes. The one that
Delta
we
9.
know about the most,
Right.
the one that we've been using forever.
Yes.
The one that everybody loves and takes dearly to their lungs.
Oh, so in that last one, the brownie bites, they're saying that if you want the smooth ride and to feel good, but you don't want the side effects of Delta 9, then you eat these edible brownie Delta 8 brownie bites. Okay. Wait, I'm not done. Did you want, what else you got? You got something?
I got nothing.
You got something,
I got
mister?
nothing.
What you got? You were going to say something.
No, I wasn't.
All right, let's finish this one. 15 is Diamond CBD Chill Delta 8 Lollipop in a sensual way. You can experience the best edibles for female arousal with this Delta 8. It is the best hemp compound for female arousal because it offers a psychoactive experience that is both legal and euphoric. You can feel a sense of calm, uplift, joy, and arousal simultaneously without feeling like you need to go to sleep because the high is too intense. So we gave you a lot of options here for the best edibles for female arousal. You can find Delta 8 gummies for sale through a brand's website or a dispensary in your city. If you don't know where to start, try out Delta North products. They're the most recommended Delta 8 products and are extensively tested for safety, compliance, and efficacy.
Like we've talked about, know where it's coming from, know where you're getting it at.
Yeah.
I like when you talk about like articles like this.
Oh, geez.
Your hair is banging tonight too.
What are you going to talk about next?
International news.
Yeah.
A lawsuit filed to legalize daga. Daga is cannabis. Cannabis should be legalized in Namibia, and people in prison for possessing daga should be freed. Two leading members of an organization advocating the legalization of daga went to the high court to order. Well, good. Hopefully they legalize it there. Next. Teen posing as a food delivery driver arrested after cops smell weed. This happened in the UK. A 17-year-old accused of dealing drugs tried to blend in with the many other food delivery workers on the road during COVID-19 by disguising himself in a jacket and carrying a bag belonging to a food delivery service. But the ruse did not escape the attention of the Metropolitan Police in London, UK. Volunteer officers from the Special Constabulary, for which saw a teen riding bicycles just after midnight on September 11th, notes a statement from the Met Police. He was on his way to drop off an order, the police report. The teen initially evaded officers when they tried to stop him, but was immediately detained, noticing a strong smell of weed. A search was conducted. Officers found suspect cannabis inside individual bags, worth about $910 in cash, and a cell phone with information suggesting his involvement in drug dealing. Man, the boy was arrested for possession with intent to supply Class B drugs, which includes cannabis, and failing to stop for police. Subsequent investigation determined does not work for a food delivery service and believe he was using the front to organize deals. Chief Inspector Chris Schimmel, Met Police East Unit. So, that young man's sitting in jail for something that's going to be legalized all across the world soon. Come on, UK, legalize it there, will you? Elections in Germany and cannabis. They're talking about in this article in Germany the different sides and each party and where they stand. The Social Democratic Party, Christian Democratic Union, Alternative for Germany, and so those are the ones that are where they stand, if they're right wing or whatever it says here in this article. But it's going to be big. Germany's going to be right now they are the largest importer of cannabis. It's going to be huge there. It's the biggest in the world right now, and it's not even legal there yet. It's just medical. It's crazy. What brings out the little kid in you?
There's a lot. Doing things that are creative, I think. Yeah. You want to hear what this article has to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've got some activities that can help bring out the little kid in every stoner. So we do talk often about how when you smoke, if you want to engage in creativity, I think that I personally experience that smoking particular strains will encourage your creativity or allow your creativity to flow a little more freely. And so there are a lot of things that you can do. And whether it's bringing out the little kid or just being more creative or doing something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. But there are some simple things. And these are kind of calming things too. Coloring, for instance. I don't know if any of you have ever tried an adult coloring book, but they're actually kind of frustrating now that I think about it.
But you actually do pretty well with them.
Yeah, but it takes you probably 10 hours to finish one page. Like, I love a good old like kids coloring book with like a duck, bold outline duck, and I just have to color the duck in. That's fun. And then you can like draw a little background. But anyway, coloring is great. Whether you sit with your own kids and do it, but when you're stoned and I don't know, just chill time, get an adult coloring book and give it a try. It's fun. How about swinging? I know we were just talking about sexuality. I'm not talking about that kind of swinging. I guess that could be considered creative, if that's your thing. Anyway, I'm talking about parks. Go to the park and swing. Or maybe you have a swing set in your backyard. If it's strong enough to hold adults, go for a swing. Kick your feet up. Stare up at the sky. Look at the clouds. I don't know. Lay on the grass. Just engage with nature. How about ball pits? I have actually been in people's homes where they have a ball pit in their basement, or if they have a big like high ceiling family room, they're able to put a ball pit in their house somewhere. But do you ever go in there and play? I know I did when the kids were little.
Yeah, that was it. That was the last time I was ever in a ball pit.
That's fun. That would be fun. Or like how about like a big bounce house? That would be really fun.
I've done that stoned.
Yeah. Painting. Just you could do paint nights with friends. Now there's places where you can go and you could do a paint night. They provide all the materials. You just pay a fee. There's an instructor. They give you a subject to paint, and they teach you how to paint it. Definitely, you could have a little, I don't know, hit a little joint before you walk in the building kind of thing, or have a little edible before you get started. How about remember playing in the living room, making forts out of the cushions on the couch and a sheet?
Best.
Yeah. Make one of those, like make a little movie night inside a little fort tent. Fort tent. Couch fort. Couch tent. How many different names can I give it? Board games are fun. We play dominoes with friends of ours all the time. We get super baked.
We play the train.
Have some beers. Yeah. And we play train. That's fun. Face painting, I think I have to disagree with that. That's a little weird. I don't think I'm going to go in the bathroom and paint my face. Or I have
If you were at a party.
Mr. Weedman, can I paint your face?
If you were at a party.
For adults?
Yeah, and there was a face painter there. Like if you were
No,
at like,
I will tell you, we were at an event and it was a carnival of sorts. And we got I got my face painted along with a lot of other women, and I was really baked. And then we segued into like an after party, and a lot of people somehow like showed up there sober and organized. Like they were clean, like they didn't come from the carnival. And I had face paint on, and I just felt like a clown. I felt so goofy. Like everybody else. That was a long night.
You should have been like this to them.
So face painting.
You should have been like this to them. What, am I a clown?
What am I, a clown?
Am I here to fucking
We should have started
amuse you?
talking. What do we do at that wedding that one time? Bada bop, bada bop, bada
we
bing,
started speaking.
bada.
Yeah,
We just jibber jabber, and people actually thought at some point we really had our own language. That was pretty funny. So I don't know. If you feel like doing some face painting, go for it. I don't know. Go do a makeup tutorial in your bathroom. There you go.
There you go.
And playing dress up. I suppose. I don't know. Like, I don't think I want to play dress up either.
We did one time.
Oh my gosh, we did. We played train with dominoes.
Yes.
And we smoked, and some friends were over, and we
put on Halloween costumes.
Yes, this friend had given us a bunch of old, like, vintage, like, handmade Halloween costumes, adult sized. Oh my God, they were hysterical.
You were the Care Bear.
All of a sudden, we all had a costume on, and we're sitting at the table playing dominoes. One of our kids comes home, and we all answer the door in costumes, and we're like dancing. And it's probably like 1 a.m, and the kids are like, "Oh hell no, like, I'm not coming in that house. What is happening?" Oh gosh. So
yeah, I guess
let loose a
I guess
little
we
bit.
played
Have
dress
some
up
fun.
before.
Yeah, I guess we did play dress up. Gosh. So those are some fun stoner activities to bring out the little kid.
Yeah, especially when winter's coming.
We're not going anywhere at this point. Right now,
winter's coming. Give you some fun stuff to do. Why not? Be a kid. I am for the rest of my life. I don't want to grow up.
I almost spit my water
I'm a Toys R Us kid. You don't remember that song?
I do.
All right. Why more professional athletes are depending on cannabis? As the sport world battles the use of performance-enhancing drugs, one substance almost always slips under the radar: cannabis. But according to the new book Runner's High by G. P. Putman's Sons by Josiah Hesse, its use is rife in professional sports. Former Denver Nuggets basketball player Kenyon Martin estimates that 85% of the players in the NBA use cannabis. Ex-Philadelphia Flyers enforcer Ryle Cody reveals that at least half of the players in the NHL do the same. Cannabis use appears to be at its highest in the NFL, with one-time Dallas Cowboys tight end Martellus Bennett claiming that nearly 90% of the professional football players rely on it, mostly to manage pain, instead of dabbing in opioids, and can lead to some serious side effects and addiction. Good for them. Every game you saw me, I was medicated, said Dallas Cowboys defensive end David Irving in an Instagram post where he smoked a blunt before announcing his retirement in March 2019. I smoked 2 blunts before every game, admitted Cowboy defensive lineman Sean Smith in an interview with Bleach Report in 2019. When I smoke, I can focus and actually do the job I have. I feel like nobody can stop me when I was out there. It's the best thing for me. Easing pain isn't the only reason. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Percy Harvin said he got high before each game just so he could cope with the anxiety he suffered playing in front of huge crowds. The only thing that really seemed to work is when I would smoke cannabis, said Bleacher. He told the Bleacher Report. There's not a game that I played in that I wasn't high. The important trick for athletes in cannabis, writes Hesse, is using the substance or its derivative products like CBD or THC at the right level. Not only dose the drug's anti-inflammatory products to soothe injuries, he argues it also aids recovery after intense training, helping to mitigate fatigue. Used in the right way, cannabis effects to do the opposite of what athletes were taught to believe, that getting high would turn them into useless couch monsters, he writes. Each sports body has its own policies towards cannabis. The World Wrestling Federation, says Hesse, finds a weed tax of $2,500 on anyone caught using it. The World Anti-Doping Authority, WADA, which sets its rules for more than 650 sports, still lists cannabis on the banned substance for athletes in competition. In June, the United States Anti-Doping Agency suspended 100-meter sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson for 1 month, which she tested positive for cannabis, costing her a place in the Olympic team at this year's Tokyo Games. Golfer Matt Everett was suspended by the PGA Tour for 3 months in 2018 following a positive test for cannabis, despite having a legal medical prescription for it in his home state of Florida. Meanwhile, some leagues have wholeheartedly embraced cannabis. Many competitors in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, such as Derek Lewis and Nate Diaz, admit they use it. There's even a Stone Jiu-Jitsu league, High Rollers, where fighters share a joint before slamming each other on the mat, Hess writes. The 420 Games, founded in 2014, took it even further, staged in Boulder, Colorado. It brought together those who like to blend weed and workouts in kind of a cannabis Olympics. The tournament attempted to show that cannabis-loving athletes can be healthy and active instead of the ubiquitous perception that we all paralyzed trolls subsisting on 7-Eleven snacks and role-playing video games, Hess writes. That was pretty funny. Based in Denver, Colorado, Hesse is an investigative journalist who took running a bid to change a life that was spiritually out of control as he drank an Olympic pool's worth of booze every single night. His discovery of cannabis edibles got him off the couch and pounding the streets, turning him from a pack-a-day sedentary slug with a drinking problem into an energized antelope who eats 10 Ks for breakfast, he writes. While smoking cannabis may lead to an increased risk from bronchial cancer, ingesting edibles, any food product containing regular milligrams of THC in a controlled dosage can be a safer way of consuming it. That's for him. For Hesse, taking 10 to 20 milligrams of THC before each run turned exercise from pure misery to profoundly meditative, inspiring, and downright hedonistic activity. The epiphany prompted him to explore scientific evidence showing that the cannabis can actually improve athletes' performance. Cannabis first fell under federal government control in the Cannabis Tax Act of 1937. In 1952, harsh mandatory sentences for cannabis-related offenses and other drugs were introduced. The Controlled Substance Act in 1970 officially prohibited the use of cannabis for any purpose, although it also abolished mandatory minimum sentencing, charging possession of cannabis from a felony to a misdemeanor. For decades, many athletes have tried to dispel the notion of cannabis as dangerous. In the 1970s, NFL star Dave Megacy, a linebacker for the St. Louis Cardinals, was the chairman of the action group Jocks for Joints, which aimed to bring about change in cannabis policy and sports. His group even once challenged some anti-marijuana players into a game, where they would play stoned and the other side was sober. It never happened. That would have been great to watch. Mm-hmm. Gradually, the idea that cannabis might not be as harmful as, say, alcohol started to gain traction according to the Centers of Disease Control. 1 in 10 deaths in working-age adults between 20 and 64 in the use due to excessive alcohol use, while the cost of the U.S. economy from alcohol-related illnesses amounts to almost $250 billion. Just saying this one more time. No one's ever died from cannabis. The U.S. government, meanwhile, does not even track deaths caused by overdose of cannabis. Why? Because there has never been one. Although plenty of people have taken too much. I'm one to say yes. Mrs. Weedman the other night ago. Yes. Suffered anxiety attacks and shown up at the ER certain they were dying. I have never gone to the ER being too high. So just, I've been high and I was like, woo, but really whoa. But I went through the steps of just to try to calm myself down, taking deep breaths, getting some fresh air, drinking some lemon water, eating something sweet. When I get the shakes really bad, it's because I overdid it. I always drink something sweet and boom, pop, done. Get some fresh air, you're good to go. Such studies have led to major change. Today, 19 U.S. states and Washington, D.C. have legalized cannabis, while the use of medicinal cannabis is now legal in 37 states. In May 2013, WADA raised the threshold for cannabis in athlete system tenfold from 15 nanograms to 150 nanograms, allowing athletes to partake during training, safe in the knowledge they can easily get down to required level once competition starts. In 2018, they also removed CBD from the list of prohibited substances in or out of competition. The NFL also raised the acceptable limit of THC in a player system from 35 nanograms to 150, and would no longer suspend players for a positive cannabis test. In June, they announced a new commission alongside the league's players' union, with an award up to $1 million in grants for researchers to look into the therapeutic potential of cannabis, CBD, and other alternatives to opioids for treating pain. In 2019, Major League Baseball removed cannabis from its list of prohibited substances following pressure from the players' union, although the league still bans players from being high during a game or being sponsored by a cannabis company. And in 2020, the NBA suspended random testing of players for cannabis. These changes, Hess writes, are long overdue, but there's still a long way to go. Will pro sports ever drop its ban on cannabis and brave its lucrative industry, the same way they do alcohol, he asked? Or will cannabis culture have to create its own sporting events? I think that was a great article.
I think so, too.
Mrs. Weedman, you got anything else to say?
No, I think we're good.
We're
We
good.
had some good articles tonight. Hopefully everybody goes and gets aroused and dresses up like a kid and plays and has fun and just have a good time.
Have a good time, everybody.
Have a good time.
We love you all out there. Have a great, great evening. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.